Hey there, CJ Math students, and welcome to classwork homework 7.4, area of triangles and trapezoids. It's a little bit different video than normal in that I'm simply showing you the completed notes and asking you some guided questions on the upcoming problems rather than walking you through problems. So I'll highlight stuff as we go through just to recall. For triangles, remember a triangle basically can be cut into two congruent a rectangle can be cut into two congruent triangles. Hence why the triangle formula for the area is A equals B H divided by 2, right? A rectangle is just area is equal to base times height, but a triangle is base times height divided by 2 because you can get two congruent triangles out of a rectangle. So in the notes that we took in class, you can see we did a couple problems where we found a base, we found our height, multiplied them, divided by 2, and that's how we got our answer, right? Base times height divided by 2, answer. Base times height divided by 2, answer. Now a trapezoid is a basically rectangle and triangle combined. So we're going to need both the base height and base height divided by 2 formulas, but notice we have different lengths of our bases, so hence why we come up with these ideas of base 1 and base 2. Now the formula for a rectangle is right here. The height times the first base plus the second base in parentheses, then divided by 2, right? So in this case, 6, which is my height, dotted line is usually my height, multiplied by 8 plus 16 first, and then divided by 2. So 8 plus 16 is 24, and then 6 times 24 divided by 2. 6 times 24 is 144, divided by 2 gives me 72 centimeters. So sometimes your height will be on the outside over here, and you'll have to make an inference to be like, well, this is a rectangle, so if I have 8 inches here, that must mean I have my height of 8 inches on the inside. So height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, my height is 8. Adding together my bases, base 1 is 10, base 2 is 13, 10 plus 13 is 23. 8 times 23 divided by 2 gives you 92. On the back, your work should look like the following, where you always write down the formula. So area is equal to base times height divided by 2 for triangle. Then you plug in your numbers. So 12 is my base, 5 is my height, so 12 times 5 divided by 2, and then you do the math. So 12 times 5 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. Okay. So in number 2, think about what would your base be, and what would your height be. Okay. And number 3, what would your base be, and what would your height be? And number 4, what would your base be, what would your height be? Number 5, what would your base be, what would your height be? And 6, what would your base be, what would your height be? Then for problems like 8 through 14, we've got trapezoids, right? So area is equal to height, base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, right? So my height here is 7. And my bases are 5 and 11, so 5 plus 11 is 16, 7 times 16 divided by 2, 56 centimeters squared. Make sure you have your units squared. So number 9, think about what would your height be, and then what would your base 1 and base 2 be, right? And number 10, what would your height be, and then what would your base 1, base 2 be, right? And number 12, what would your height be, and then what would your base 1, base 2 be, right? Number 11, what would your height be? Sorry, 10, what would your height be? And then what would your base 1, base 2 be? And finally 14, what would your height be? And what would your base 1, base 2 be? And basically, you're plugging those numbers into that formula right there. Always make sure you circle your answers. Lastly, it says, what is the area of the figure shown below? I'm going to give you a little hint here. On top, you've got a triangle, so you're definitely going to need your triangle formula. And on bottom, you have a rectangle, so you're definitely going to need your rectangle formula. So the rectangle seems pretty easy, right? Length times width, we're good to go. Or base times height, we're good to go. Triangle seems a little bit harder, right? 3 is definitely your height. What's your base? Well, hopefully you can make some inference when you take a look at that rectangle. That's it. Call me if you have a question.